In the first video of this advanced playlist around flow, we talked about how to do a logical if-then branching to create an sObject variable and collection. This time we're going to talk about how to use the loop function. Let's see, just so when we'll walk through this, but the screen takes in an existing lesson name. We do a radio lookup on those that we can find. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do this fast record lookup. And this is just basically asking it to find, we're going to look at all the lessons, the sessions, where they're equal to the variable lesson name basically we pulled from the radio button. And then what we're going to do is we're going to ask it, drag this down, we're going to put it in this, we have two variables that are sObject collection. In this case, we've got a matching lessons and also then the junction that we'll build. But what we're doing is we're pulling all those records that match on the name into this, and we're bringing in ID and also start date, but didn't really need to. But let's just grab that. And then what we're able to do is to do a selection on instructor. And this is from the 101 series. We showed how to actually do that. The loop is interesting here because what we're doing is we're basically saying for this same variable, which is the sObject collection variable for matching lessons, we want to assign those to matching sessions as a variable. And then we're going to loop through all these, assigning this at each iteration. And so what you'll see here is that we then jump to an assignment variable, or assignment action, which does three things, right? And this again was that thing where if we go here and we go to the far right, we do the period, and we're able to see that this is the HS session contact, and this is from the variable that we pulled in off the screen. Then we're going to do the matching a session, and this is coming from the sObject that we pulled in the prior step. And then we're going to be looking at, and this was just the session contact role. We're actually creating it as a constant. This is actually a pull down from here, just so you know, if you do the pick list values, what it'll do is it'll show you what pick list values we can pull from. We pulled instructor mentor there. And so what that does is we can then say we're going to cancel this because we really didn't change anything. We're then going to run it to the assignment, which is merely just this is the collection. We want to add the session information that we just built in the last step. And then we're going to, what I did was just to create an increment for a counter, just so we could see how many we created, but that wouldn't be necessary once the system is running well. And then it runs. And then at the end of the loop, what we could be doing is I could have created a series here looking at identifying additional participants or additional volunteers, and then running through a similar kind of loop, because all we're really doing, remember, is just adding to this sObject collection for the junction object. And then when we're all done, we run it through here, which creates the records, and we get a success. So clicking run, let's just test it real quick. What we do is we get this, and let's just say I want to throw in here test, and let's see what all we can find that are test. And we see, gosh, there's lots of them here. And so let's do this one just as a test 02, because we did the test 01s before. And say next. And now I'm going to use this Terry 3, which is an instructor, and say next. And it runs through and says it created 8 of these based on kind of what information. So there were 8 existing lessons. we're going to click finish, and it's going to run us back to the beginning. But if we go out and look at Terry's record, we can see that there are no participant records here. When we do a refresh, what we'd expect to see is 8, right? So what this is going to do is to bring up that information. And we see, the drum roll, that we look at the related lists, and we now have 6 plus, and clicking here, we're going to get all 8. And so we know it works. Thanks.